Mr. Javed, where are you? Mr. Javed, please come and sit over here. Thank you.
Yeah, I wish I had some tomatoes.
Okay, ready, sir? All right. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the special meeting of the all taxi owners and operators tonight. And this meeting is regarding the lawsuit that is currently happening in the city of Toronto. My name is Behruz, and with your permission, I'm going to start the meeting tonight. And please forgive me if I am not a pro to handle this meeting. I'll try to be better next time. Thank you. So, as we have promised to all the people in the taxi industry that we are going to have a special meeting which is going to be very informative about this lawsuit, and this is what is happening tonight. And we have over here the committee members that each one of them are going to introduce themselves to you, and they're going to give a little a story about why they're involved and what's going on. And also, we have a very special guest tonight over here, as you all know. This is Mr. Michael Benetti. He's sitting over here. Please, a long, big applause for him. He has helped us so far. Thank you. And he is going to be coming to the stage later on to give you guys an overview of the claim, and he's gonna, tell you guys all about it, and you guys, any question that you can ask him. First of all, I'm gonna invite Mr. Lawrence Eisenberg. He is gonna be chairing the meeting tonight, and here it is, Mr. Lawrence Eisenberg. Please come over here. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to see everyone that's interested here. I wish there were more, but we'll take from what we got. At the moment, we're going to go with the head table. We have Behruz, who you're going to give us an overview on how long you've been in the business and what's going on.
Sure. As you mentioned, my name is Behruz.
Thank you.
Not Bruce. Anyway, I've been in the taxi industry for the last 31 years, and I have been very involved, very active with the industry regarding this fight against the unjust competition that is happening in Toronto, and this is why I am. Thank you.
Excellent, you're ready.
Hi everyone, my name is Andy Reiki. I've been licensed as a driver in 1966. I became an owner in 1969, and I haven't shut up since.
Hi everyone, my name is David Brady, Andy's son. I actually started in the cab industry when I was 5 years old, riding in the back of his cab on Sundays.
Getting tips.
Encouraging tips, yes. I started driving when I was 21. I became an owner in 2006, and now I'm volunteering here to help all of us fight for our business.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Avtar Singh Sekhon. I started in 1974. No English, be a taxi driver. I can read and write. Thanks God. Keep working hard. God help me. Brothers help me. I'm doing okay now. But City of Toronto, they ruin us. Everybody, Mr. John Tory.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sukhveer Teti. I got my taxi driver license in 1993, and I got my bachelor plate in 2002. And I have been involved in taxi industry, all these activities for the last 4 or 5 years. And Mr. Barus Khamse, who is my partner in our business, he's the most passionate person for the taxi industry, and he's the one who brought me over here. And my expertise is like, doing a little bit here and there, and I hope with the help of all of you, we'll be able to succeed in this lawsuit and get somewhere where we want to go to. Thank you.
Good evening, my name is Reza. I don't know, most probably everybody know me. I am here to show that the industry has been united. We are being divided in the past. That's what they did in City Hall. They divided the council, and we are in this terrible situation. So we are now together to bring back the unity among ourselves and in City Hall to show to Tory that he cannot play any dirty politics in City Hall. So that's all.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for coming. My name is Jawed Wali. I've been involved with my family for the past 25 years in this taxi industry. I have joined many groups. For me, groups it doesn't matter, whoever want to do something right for the industry, I join that group. And the reason I joined these great people, I think this is the right first step toward the unity of the industry. And this lawsuit should have been taking place long time ago, but I really appreciate the effort these people are putting and trying to do something for the industry. Thank you.
Yeah, the lawsuit should have happened in 2016. That was what was started. You know what I mean?
All right. History. The Eisenberg family's been in this business for 75 years. I've been in it 55 years as an owner, as a driver, as a fleet operator, as a member of the Taxi Cab Advisory Committee for 2 terms, as president of the TTOOA, which was the forerunner to this group at the moment, and we told the industry years ago that if you didn't get together, the city was going to screw you. I hope you like it, because that's exactly what they've done to us. Now, let's move on. The most important thing is we wanted to introduce Mr. Benetti, who's from the law firm of Affleck, Green, and McMurtry. He's here to give us an overview of what's going on, and we'll ask questions when we're finished, one at a time. We want you to come up to the front.
Just hold it for 1 minute.
Well, yes, go ahead.
Just before we ask Mr. Benetti to come up, I'm going to give you just a very brief overview, because our invitation said, meet the team and meet the lawyer. The team did introduce themselves individually, but what you should know is the tremendous amount of work, effort, and money that went into it for the past 2 years to get us here. We had numerous meetings. We had a lot of effort. A lot of you were participating in some of those meetings, and most of you gave us a mandate to proceed. And the mandate to proceed was, as Lawrence said it, we got here. We got here because we were guilty of negligence. We did not get together, like Reza said, but we're together today. In this room today, we have every aspect and every facet of the industry, from TTLs, wheelchair accessible vans, to former union, fleet operators, brokerage owners, drivers, former drivers and owners. So just a very brief outline. Thanks to Barus, Lawrence and I were invited to participate 2 years ago. We attended a meeting, and at that stage, nobody really had an idea how bad it's gonna be. But you could see it. You could see the handwriting on the wall, that it was not going to get better. So we started 2 years ago, and the turning point for our industry was really and truly in 1998, when the first reform started. The second turning point for our industry was 2012 and 2014, where 2 additional reports were commissioned. And in 2014, out of the clear blue sky, Uber appeared. Now, I did not want to go into too much detail in my background, but some of you know me. I attended a lot of meetings at City Hall. I'm a former instructor at the Ambassador's Tax Schools. Some of you were my students. And I have been a proponent for the tax industry, a bit of a spokesperson. And I can tell you, because I was there, Uber was never ever discussed prior to the report. It was not on the agenda. So we got together in 2017 because of Belarus. We had a lot of meetings, and we're here today, and the rest will be up to all of us. Not those of you who are here, but those of you that can reach the others who are not here. This is what we're hoping. Right now, I am preaching to the converted. We need to reach as many people as possible. Thank you.
Mr. Benetti, are you ready?
Ground rules.
Oh, yes, I already said that. When we're done, okay, we ask that you give one question and one question only. You'll get your couple of minutes. You have to come up to the podium and present your questions and to get your answers. Mr. Benetti.
Good evening, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to address all of you. I was retained by Mr. Eisenberg, Beirut, and Sukbir to commence a claim, a proposed class action. I say proposed class action on behalf of all persons who owned or held a taxi cab owner's license as of September 1st, 2014. And the reason we say that day is important is that's the day that UberX began their service. And that's really for the purposes of our claim where we say the real trouble starts with this industry when we're talking about loss of value and loss of income. So these 3 gentlemen approached me to commence a proposed class action on behalf of all of those people. And some of the things we're saying the city did is not going to be news to anyone in this room. But the way we've set out the claim is that the city was negligent in how they enforced the bylaws as they were back then. So the bylaws said that driving for Uber was illegal, and our claim says the city did nothing really about it. To the extent the city did anything about it, they tried to bring in an injunction against Uber, but as we say in our claim, that was destined to fail from day one. And really, beyond bringing an application that took the better part of a year to get decided, and they ultimately lost, we can't see anything that the city did to try to look out for you folks. We say that the city owed a duty of care. These are legal terms, but basically they had a special obligation to consider all of the time, effort, and importantly money that was put into this industry by you. And we say by reason of the city that they knew that, they had a special obligation to look out for your interest. That doesn't mean that they owed you an obligation to make decisions that benefited you 100% of the time, but we say they didn't even look out for your interest. And the evidence that we're going to put forward is for 2 years, they let Uber run uninhibited and did nothing to try to stop them. That was concrete. We say that for years and years, the city would grant additional plates and tell people such as you that this was to be your pension. And the city says in their defense, we never said that. We never told these people that there was going to be any security in these licenses. And basically, the case is that you all had an expectation that your interests would be considered, and the city didn't consider them. And for that, we're seeking damages that roughly equate to the loss in the value of your plates and the loss of income as a result of what the city did not do. For their part, what the city has filed a defense, so we issued what's called a statement of claim, and it's just a statement of allegations, nothing's been proven in court, and then the city responded with something called the statement of defense, which is again, their written document that responds to all of these allegations we've made against them. And nothing, at least for me, is terribly surprising what the city is saying. The city is saying, we didn't owe you any sort of duty. We could do what we want and when we want. And the City of Toronto Act says we can regulate taxis, so too bad. And nothing we did was wrong. And even if we owed you a duty, we did more than we were required to look out for your interests. So those are really the facts that will be in dispute in the lawsuit. Now, I'll circle back to where I started. The case was commenced as a proposed class action. So what the court needs to do is decide whether or not they can let it proceed. And the court will look at certain things, such as, are these three gentlemen the appropriate representatives for everyone who owned a plate as of that day? Does the claim, is the claim tenable? Can we, if all the facts go our way, can we prove it? Those are things that some of the things that the court's going to look at, and that's really the next step in this process. We have to ask the court for permission to proceed with the claim. Some of you may be aware there is a case in Ottawa. They brought a class action, slightly different than ours, but in that case, the City of Ottawa agreed that it should proceed to the next step. It doesn't